Welcome, everybody. We'll call this meeting to order. This is the August meeting of the Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Commission. As always, we'll start our meeting with a prayer and a pledge. Eddie, will you do it for us?
Yes.
Thank you, man.
Please pray. Father, thank you for all the many blessings that you give us. Help us that we may make good decisions today for our community. Help there be peace in the world and goodwill for all. Amen.
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 Rise, pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Eddie. Everybody should have received their packet over the last couple of days. In that, it contained the minutes from our July meeting. This time we'll entertain any changes that need to be made to the minutes. If there are none, a motion for acceptance.
If there are no corrections, I move that we accept the minutes.
Have a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Mitzi, thanks as always. We'll jump right into new business. First thing I'll mention, item 2 under new business is a consideration of the revised financial assistance policy. That is a scratch for today. We're going to save that for a future meeting. There's a couple more tweaks that need to be done to that. First item under new business is a consideration of a new fitness and wellness program. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me. All right, I've got 2 programs that I'm going to bring up to you for consideration that we're planning on doing in the fall. First one, pretty simple. Well, I think it's pretty simple. It's Put Pain in Its Place. This is a pre-designed program that is sponsored by the Arthritis Foundation and the National Council on Aging. They pretty much sent me a nice little box packet of educational material to offer to the public on self-management for pain dealing with arthritis. Because they sent it to me for free, I'm offering it for free, and so I'm planning on doing that on October 15th. It's a Wednesday, about 11 o'clock. It has more than just this book, nice book for the participants, lots of flyers for exercise, different kind of pamphlets, all arranged in this nice little box, and they're cellophane wrapped, so I didn't want to mess it up so that's why I didn't bring those. So that's the first one, so we're just offering that one for free. It's just an hour. It's already there. If it winds up doing well, I can go back to the Arthritis Foundation, get some more for free, because this is just a program that they're offering for the community. So that's number 1. Second program that we're looking at doing in the fall is, every year we kind of do a holiday hold to get people to help them not put on weight during the holiday seasons from October on. This year I decided I wanted to kind of make it a little bit harder, because normally it's just don't put on weight. This year I want to kind of get a jump on those New Year's people, so we're going to try to do a 90-day fitness, wellness, weight loss challenge. So that's going to be a 90-day program from September 14th through December 12th. We're going to meet once a week for about an hour or so, just kind of depends on participation, where we'll discuss workouts, nutrition, pretty much anything that the participants kind of want to discuss. Right now I have it loosely based on the presidential's active lifestyle with the information that we'll start out with, and then we'll just kind of change around depending on what everybody wants to do. In that, normal activities, workouts are you pay for them on your own, but we're going to allow free participation with the Santa Belly Boot Camp, which will be running along those same times. But the price of the program, we're asking $50 for that, just to kind of offset some of the printing and things like that. So those are the 2 I have brought before you.
Thanks, Allison.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions for Allison regarding either one of the programs?
With the 90-day challenge, was there any
any discussion or plans or desires to maybe offer that as well at Patterson Park Community Center?
Patterson normally does a New Year's program, so this is kind of like we'll be doing ours first, and then Patterson will do theirs. So that they're going to have a similar program, or they normally have. So I'm assuming that they will do that again, but they typically have theirs. It'll start in January. So if you could do them both, and then you'll be really fit and healthy.
Any other questions? If there are no other questions, we need a motion for approval of these programs as presented.
I move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Allison. Appreciate you being here. Next item is a consideration of rental guidelines for athletics facilities. Thomas Laird's going to walk us through this. Thomas, welcome.
Good afternoon, members of the commission. As you know, we experienced some undesirable turf conditions at Siegel Park this year, and a lot of that was due to the extreme winter that we've had. I wanted to give you guys an update of where we're at with that. We went through a process of sprigging the fields. Some of the areas, or a good portion of the areas, didn't come in as we had hoped, and some of that was relevant to the soil compaction, our inability to go in and loosen the soil completely before we had to sprig because of the tight deadlines. So now we have gotten with administration, and we have a course of action to go in and sod a good portion of the areas that need it, and then as well seed the areas with a perennial rye, high-quality ryegrass that will help us get through soccer seasons, and then we can continue to grow in the turf next summer once we're in a shutdown period. So we have got a good course of action. Joel with the golf course is working very closely with us, as well as many other consultants, and we've got some very reputable companies that are helping us to get the fields in shape, and we feel confident that by the end of the month, when we have our first major tournament, fields will be in good playing condition and be strong enough to hold the amount of play throughout the rec season and the soccer season for the fall. And then going into spring, we'll continue to oversee with ryegrass to make sure that we're not damaging any areas. And we've gotten administration's approval to purchase new equipment to help reduce that compaction. And as you know, last month we brought in guidelines in terms of usage to help limit this problem in the future, to help us plan for a severe winter. Hopefully we won't have those winters again, and this is one of those one-time things. As you know, the park has been very successful for many years, and this is one of those situations that was perhaps unavoidable, but we're working diligently to repair the fields. In that process, we were asked to look at our field rental policies as well, in terms of limiting usage and how much usage fields would get. So before you have our athletic rental policies. The main things that we addressed weren't so much in the tournament or the game policies, but as much as in the practice policies. Historically, in practices, if a team came to us and wanted to practice multiple practices, say they wanted to use the facility for an entire season, we would divert that to looking at a use agreement. If they met all the qualifications and met everything for that and the space was available, then we would do a use agreement with that organization, similar to what we've done with the YMCA for our multi-purpose fields at McKnight Park. But because of the high demands for usage of fields throughout the city, we did go in, and perhaps the largest one change we've made noted is that we will only rent fields from March 1st to November 30th, keeping in mind the severe winters that we've had in the past, or this past year. We feel like by limiting field rentals to those parameters, we can hopefully stay off of them when it's really cold and could damage the turf. And then if you look down to number 4, we've got individuals or teams may only make one field date request at a time, one reservation per week. Multiple dates will not be accepted. You're allowed one practice time per week and no more than 4 practices per calendar month. Availability of each field is limited to 3 times per week. This prevents one individual from coming in and reserving the field for the duration of the season, and allows for multiple users to be able to rent those fields. One of the issues we experienced maybe at Siegel was the lack of designation for public fields. So now we have designated 2 public fields for pickup games or public use, and those would be the fields that we would designate for rentals. But because they are fields for public use and pickup games, we want to limit the amount of usage that has. Are there any comments or questions on this policy?
Thanks, Thomas. This would apply to all facilities, correct?
Right.
Okay. Any questions for Thomas regarding this policy? If there aren't any questions, we need a motion for approval as presented.
I move approval.
Thanks, Gloria. And the second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Regan. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas. Good work.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, to go back to Thomas's opening statement about the fields, our guys are really working hard. I know that they care as much about those fields as anyone does, and of course the Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department has been one of the flagships within the state and the Southeast in priding themselves in great facilities. And that's still our goal, to have those quality facilities, things that people like to bring their visitors from out of town in and show off the facility. So everything that I've heard from turf experts, I know just this week I talked to 2 different sod farm folks. They said this is going to be a 2-year process. It could be a 3. They even said that in ideal conditions on their sod farms, they were having difficulty at the first of the season trying to get, because they had damage as well, trying to get that type of Bermuda to grow and spread the way it should. So we've had some success. We are getting help from the golf course. Joel Beckham, who has over 30 years of turf management, and Angela and I went out to Siegel before this meeting, and Joel was there, and the guys are working hard trying to get that done. So I just want you to know that we're putting every effort that we can into that facility to make sure that we get it back online. We're also working with the schools and other places to identify alternate practice sites so that we can limit play as much as possible, so we can allow those fields to get back to the conditions that they need to get into. So we're going to be working with the soccer club, and they're more than willing to do what it takes. I know that they're the same way. They want to see that the best facility in the southeastern United States. So we just had a discussion beforehand talking about all the things that we're doing. So there's going to be efforts on both sides to make sure that we achieve our goal there.
Thanks.
Do we have a timeline as far as identifying the alternative sites? Because I know that
We've already identified, Mr. Shirley, several of the sites. We're waiting. Schools are starting a soccer program this fall as well, and we met with the schools already. They may call me this afternoon and say,
I just need time to get with the principals, and they're a little busy right now.
So that's kind of where we are. But I know that they're going to have a soccer program in the schools this fall, and we've agreed to try to help with the manicuring the fields or things that needs to be done to get it to the level I think that they would want it and that soccer community would want it as well, so we can have some good quality facilities. And we've identified 8 different places within the parks, a couple that are lit, and we're moving some of our programs that we've got to try to make this thing as easy as we can.
With the schools, I know last month I was talking about, when I was growing up, we always played at the schools, but I think that also predated a lot of the liability and growth of after-school care programs. How does that factor in as far as, I used Hopgood as the example. The Hopgood fields are on the other side of the parking lot, and they've got the street signs, no parking on grass now. As far as if ESP is still going on, would people be allowed to park in those parking lots?
That's what we're working on with Lanny on that, so we'll work with him on that, to work out the logistics and where.
Ms. Shirley, there's some schools that have facilities that we can use that have areas that we could park, and it would still not affect, I think, ESP when we do that. And, it's tough to have 2 different programs going on at one time, but we think we can do it.
Any other questions for Lanny?
Thank you for that opportunity.
I guess my desire would be in the school systems, if it's like anything else that we do in our school systems, it'll probably become competitive at some point, and we'll probably wind up with the schools wanting to maintain and have a field that they'd be proud of behind them. And so I think that's going to be a real win situation for not only the school but for the community. And so I think that this approach of trying to distribute some of the fields and get them all out of this one central location and give people practice alternatives that might not be quite as far a drive and stuff from maybe people who live on a different side of town than where our soccer fields are located. I think that this is a good move and it's going in the right direction. Sadly, the adversity of the field condition is what's driving us that way, but I think, certainly we've got a good plan in place, and I know Lanny and you guys are really working hard to make sure that we do get the soil and grass back in the condition that we would be proud of. And so I'm excited about it. I think it's a positive move, and I think we'll come out of this on the backside going, it was sad that what motivated it, but it was great, the outcome. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to wind up with a winner on this.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions or comments? All right. Next item on the agenda is pool hours at Borough Beach. Bart, you're up.
Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission, I want to come before you today to really give you some general information as well as the public on our new hours as we go into what we call our fall mode for our Borough Beach, which is, of course, our outdoor pool. I know anybody who was out this morning out in the traffic knows school has started, had abbreviated day today, and I know, they're out of school tomorrow. Friday starts full day, so we've had to abbreviate a lot of our hours for our outdoor pool at Borough Beach because a lot of our employees and lifeguards are high school students, and I would say 75% of them are. So we've had to abbreviate a lot. I wish we didn't have to, but sometimes we do. And with school in, of course, that cuts down on our people that do come enjoy our pool. What we've got now scheduled, and I went out by the pool before I came. We opened at 12 o'clock today, 12 to 6:30. And on tomorrow we'll be on our regular hours, 10 to 6:30, and then Friday we start our abbreviated hours, which for your open swim will be 4 to 6:30. We do have a new program we started a couple of years ago. It's called Mom and Tots, and that's been very popular with parents with young children. What we do there, which will start Friday, and then we'll start next Monday through Friday through August, is 10 to 1. We call the Mom and Tots, where the moms can bring their toddlers out and come to the pool between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. What we do there is we open just our play features, which the whole pool will not be open, but it'll be the zero depth entry for mom and their kids, which has been very popular because it's not as crowded. The little kids get a lot more room to splash in the pool and run around and stuff in that area, and that's been very popular. And we've had already had a lot of calls on that. So through August, we're going to do the mom and tots 10 to 1, and then we'll open the pool back at 4 o'clock to 6:30 Monday through Friday. Our Saturday and Sunday hours will be the same all the way through August, and we will close the pool on Labor Day. But I know last night at the National Night Out, I went out, we were talking to some people, and this lady was looking at the pool and said, "Man, this is really nice." I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "What is the price?" And I told her the price, and she looked at me and said, "Man, Nashville Shores is wearing me out. So I'm going to start coming here." I said, "Okay, well, you come on." I gave her a book, and it's amazing how many out-of-town people we do have come to our pool. It's been very popular, and just want to let the public know we put on our website that we do have abbreviated hours starting Monday for sure, but tomorrow we're open all day, Friday abbreviated hours, and then next Monday they'll start the abbreviated hours. So a couple of other things, our private parties, I think I've mentioned to you before, we opened up the Friday nights a couple of years ago, and every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday has been taken with private parties. We did have our gazebo rentals, which started a couple of years ago. They have been very popular. Every weekend, both gazebos are rented, maybe once, sometimes twice a day. During the week, we do have some rentals, but the Borough Beach edition of SportsCom has been very successful. I appreciate your support in supporting that change. So if there's any other questions or comments, I'll be glad to answer them if there are any.
Anybody have any questions for Bart?
Bart, the weekend hours, what are they going to be?
Weekend hours will be the same, which will be 10 to 4:30 Saturday and 1 to 4:30 on Sundays.
Great.
Bart, I don't know if you're going to cover this later on or not, but the National Night Out you mentioned last night, that was a huge success. Compliments go out to the Parks and Rec Department as well as the Murfreesboro Police Department. Is this something you're going to cover later?
No, go ahead.
Okay. But the activity was wonderful in every one of the parks. The participation seems to grow with each year, and the entertainment was great. I can't tell you how proud I am of my city when I go around and look at the parks and what's going on in them. The last couple of weeks I've hung around SportsCom a little bit, like 12 hours a day, and because of early voting. But the positive side of that was I had the opportunity to sit there and look at the traffic that goes in and out of SportsCom, and you mentioned the economic impact, or you briefly touched on it, of what's going on in our city and the number of vehicles that are coming through that park. I would guess that probably every other car that came into that parking lot was either from Williamson County or Wilson County or Davidson County or, we've seen them from Franklin County, Lincoln County, everywhere. And it was amazing to sit there and watch all these people come in, and it would be a parent or two and 2 or 3 kids. And I think we are the Nashville Shores destination now. When I was talking to one person, they said that they could bring their entire family for the price of admission of one. And so we're certainly competitively priced. And looking at the pool last night, the condition it's in, how it's maintained, and what a great job you guys do of managing it. Certainly you've got a facility to be proud of, and I commend you on your facility.
Appreciate it. I know, like I said this morning, I went out by the pool, and they were waiting to get in at 12 today, and I just asked the lady, I said, "Are you from here?" She said, "No, I'm from Spring Hill." I said, so she drove over from Spring Hill to come. So, like I said, it's been very popular, and we've got a couple of special events that's going to be at Borough Beach here, and I'm sure Nate will touch on some of those. We've got the TVA Super Challenge coming up on the 16th, where we have people from 7 states coming in. It's an Olympic-size event where they do horseshoes, softball, volleyball, basketball, and also the families will be swimming. We also will have on September the 13th, if you have a puppy or a dog, we have what we call our puppy plunge. That is the last event of the year. So that will be, 10 to 1 on Saturday, September 13th. So that's our last event of the puppy plunge, so they get to splash the last time. So,
Bart, also, I'll reiterate on the amount of traffic and how well it's being used. It was interesting to see how much we need the improvements that we're looking at on the parking situation out there, because we had them parked, half a field parked full of cars out there on Saturday. And so the planned construction that we have coming up to alleviate some of that will be, it's much needed. It's not going to be wasted parking for sure.
we're really looking forward to our renovation. I know we've been working on it, been meeting several times, so I know a lot of our patrons, customers are excited, and like I said, appreciate your support.
You can go ahead and start the invitations to the Polar Bear Plunge. If you,
Oh, yes, we will have our Polar Bear Plunge in January, the first Saturday in January. Ms. Scales,
Our first activity
Ms. Harris,
back
you're
at
ready
Pearl
to sign up if you'd like. If not, I'll get you after the meeting. Thank you.
I'd like to echo on
Okay.
to what Eddie just said, and also to thank the Murfreesboro Fire Department for their spraying the kids. But he didn't want to say that he and Lanny led the dance line with the shuffle and the wobble.
That's what I heard.
And the electric slide.
Electric slide, right.
Slide.
Slide. Don't leave that one. That's
Thank
the
you.
best
Bart,
move.
thanks for being here. Thanks for all you guys do. So last, but certainly not least, is our monthly program update. Nate Williams is going to go over that for us today. Nate, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate you letting us be here. We've got a lot of special events coming up over the next couple of months. I wanted to touch on some. We stay pretty busy now all the way through Christmas. It just never ends for us. So I just want to throw some of the things that we've got going on in the Recreation Division in September and August. Like I said, over the next few weeks. August 23rd is our Back to School Bash. That's an event we partner with city schools to put on. It's from 10 to 1 at Cannonsburg on August 23rd. We have some giveaways, some school supplies, entertainment, music, that type of thing. So it's a good family event. We encourage everybody to come. The next one is our Hummingbird Festival. It accomplishes our goal of helping some of our citizens know about a lot of the animals that are native to this area. It's our Hummingbird Festival on September 6th at the Wilderness Station. It's free. We'll have a lot of people there to talk about hummingbirds, how to host those types of animals in your backyard if that's what you're interested in. It's September 6th from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. We've got a Patterson Fall Arts and Crafts Show. That's a craft show. If people are interested in coming and displaying or selling some of their crafts, they can call Trina Pullum at 893-2141, and she can give you the details. That's September 27th at Patterson Park Community Center in the green space. We'll usually have a pretty big turnout for that, so we're looking forward to that. Similar, we have our Greenway Arts Festival. This is a juried arts festival, and that's something we've done for many years now. We've had to estimate over 1,000 people usually come to this event. It's September 20th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Old Fort Park on the Greenway Trail. That's something that has grown to be one of our biggest special events, and we put a lot of work into it. If anybody has any questions about that or would like to apply for this arts festival, applications submitted August 15th or before is $25, and after August 15th is $30. So that's something that people look forward to. Really excited about getting some of our local artists. The next thing that we have is Murfreesboro's Wheels and Wings Day. That's a new special event that we're doing in partnership with the Murfreesboro Airport. We're really looking forward to this event. This is our version of a Touch a Truck Day. We've got most of the city departments involved with it. Our unique spin is a couple of things. We've got planes that people will be able to walk around, touch, and climb in and learn about. We should have over about 12 vehicles there, including planes. It's from 3 to 6:30 on September 6th at the Murfreesboro Airport. This is a free event. We'll have some vending opportunities for people if they're hungry. The other thing that we're doing is we're going to be showing a special edition of Movies Under the Stars on the tarmac of the airport. So we'll be having that. People can bring their lawn chairs. That starts at 7 o'clock. So we're expecting a great turnout from that. We've had a lot of great participation from other departments, bringing some of their really unique vehicles that make living here fun and safe. And we're excited to be able to touch some planes, too. So I'd be glad if anybody has any questions about any of these events. That's what's coming up on our radar. And we're looking forward to it.
Lots going on, as always. Anybody have any questions for Nate?
What time did you say that back to school bash was at Cannonsburg?
That's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Thank you.
at Cannonsburg. Like I said, we do have some giveaways, some school supplies, and we'll have some entertainment and some things where kids can participate and make some arts and crafts.
Nate, I know that Bart Allison and Thomas, and you are always looking to the future, and you rarely look back, but I can't help but compliment you on what a fantastic job you did on Uncle Dave Macon Days. And it was a tremendous event again this year.
Sure.
And thank you so much for everything you did there, because, I mean, Murfreesboro Parks and Rec is a vital part of the success of that event.
Okay.
And it certainly is a excellent revenue generator for our community. Gloria Christie does such a fantastic job of organizing from the music side, but from the facility side, you do fantastic. So thank you again.
I appreciate that. Our staff works really hard for that event. That's a really healthy partnership that we have, and we look forward to continuing that for a long time. But like I said, it's one of our most concentrated, dense special events that we have in any of our parks. And our Cannonsburg staff and maintenance staff do an excellent job preparing for that and then cleaning up quickly afterwards to get that park back open to the public. So they get all the credit for that.
Thanks for everything, Nate. Any other questions? Appreciate you being here.
Great. Thank you.
Well, that completes our agenda. It might be, it's not a record, but it's close. Anybody have any other business? Being none, we stand adjourned.
Everybody go vote tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.